Hi, today I wanted to dive into pencil broadsides by an artist by the name of Theodore Kautzky. This book I've had for years. An old friend of mine gave me this book. This is the 5th printing. It was originally first printed in 1940. This book is from 1967, the 5th printing. He goes on to explain how to use the broadside of the pencil for landscape drawings. And he goes over fundamental strokes indicating stonework, brickwork, textures, drawing a pine tree, oak tree, birch tree, elm tree, roof textures, shrubbery, flowers, composition, pointers. He has a portfolio of broad stroke drawings and a list of the different locations that he drew the drawings. And one notable place for me is a street in Rockport, Massachusetts. I love Rockport. He goes on to explain how to adjust your point to get the broad stroke. I also found that these pencils, these carpenter pencils, are really good. If you use a mat knife or a razor blade to shave the wood away, to whittle it, and then I take it on a piece of sandpaper and really get that point flat, which is what he's saying over here. But the sandpaper kind of speeds up the process. I mean, instead of using a scrap piece of paper, but you can do that too. But you can really get some nice broad strokes with just this pencil, and then you can clean it up and sharpen it up at the edge. Just those two things you can do a lot, and he explains how to do that in this book. Here he talks about indicating stonework, wood textures, but he's really a master of architecture and composition, how to draw a pine tree. The oak tree, here he talks about the mass. I mean, a tree has thousands of leaves, so you're not going to sit here and draw thousands of leaves, but you draw them in a group, and you pull out the highlights and the shadows, and he executes it perfectly. Here he talks about roof textures and shingles, the feel of a rough surface. Here he talks about shrubbery. This is a part of the book that I really liked. These composition pointers. Here he's got a before and after comparison of about 5 examples of different compositions. And like here he has just the building, but then he put that tree in the background and it kind of gives it a better feel. This street looks very bland. The background trees are in white. You can barely see the outline of the tree. Here he shaded in the tree and gave a little foreground with this telephone pole and some shrubbery across the street, and it gives it depth. On this one, the foreground tree is dark and the background tree is light. Here he swapped it and it makes that house pop, brings it forward because it has that dark background. Same thing here. He changed the light source. The face of that is white here, it's dark here. So he changed the light source, made that tree dark, and it pops that house forward, gives it a better feel. And here are some drawings in different locations, I guess, that he visited. This is a church in Normandy. This is my favorite drawing in the whole book. This is a street in Rockport, Massachusetts. Now, Rockport is one of my favorite places. It's a very artistic town, a lot of really cool galleries, and it's got a wonderful wharf there. I would recommend anybody to visit it. Using value, he's creating depth. Again, playing with a lot of value for depth. Silhouetting this woman, she's the focal point against that light street in the back behind her. This is a street in Charleston, South Carolina. You can tell by the trees and the moss hanging from them. It's a boat in Brittany. Dark shape, this dark hull that's in front of you of another boat being held up by this beam really gives a good framing and silhouettes this guy who's in white against that dark hull behind him. This is a house in Maine. Again, silhouetting the house with this dark tree in the back, the light rock, dark face, light side. You got light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. This is a highway in New York. Very dated because you can tell the cars are older, from the 30s. I treasure this book. I find it very interesting, and he has several other books. If you're not familiar with Theodore Kautzky, I would recommend you get familiar with him if you wanted to improve your draftsmanship and your landscapes. Anyway, that's my review of this book. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.